Stadium is filling up for today's game between the Lions and Panthers. Today's game is available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your TV. Doug Bell and Dave Lapham, this should be a fun game. Michael Bates is deep to receive the kick. The Panthers won the toss and they want the football. Fred Lane is also back there, but Bates is the guy who's made the Pro Bowl team the last 3 years, 2 times as a return man last year as a special teams player. The only man in the NFL to make it at 2 different positions.
Averaging over 25 yards per kickoff return. That's 4th best in the conference, 7th best in the league, and he's going to be challenged because Hansen, the kickoff guy, tell you what, he kicks it hang time and deep.
Both kickers are excellent. Both teams have excellent special teams. There's Fred Lane. And here comes Hansen and the Lions. Bates will down it in the end zone, and the Panthers will start from the 20-yard line. And here comes Steve Berline and that powerful offensive unit, Dave. They're fun to watch. Berline enjoying the best season of his career. This is his 13th season out of Notre Dame. Last week, for the first time in his career, 4 touchdowns against the 49ers. There's the offensive front: Jones, Stoltenberg, Garcia, Redmond, and Chris Terry, the 2nd-round pick out of Georgia. Biaka Batuka enjoying his best year. Floyd is back where he was a few years ago. Mohammed, Jefferson, Walls are the receivers.
Well, Stoltenberg right here, the starter at left guard. It's not like he hasn't played in the NFL. He played 10 games at center last year for Carolina, but he's got Luther Ellis today. That's a big matchup.
Berline to the outside, and Mohammed breaks a tackle down the sidelines. Up around the 50-yard line. He's finally brought down at the 47. That's Biaka Batuka.
Fumbled the ball. The ball came out. Carolina got it.
Carolina's football. A 32-yard gain by Biaka Batuka, who went wide that time. We talked to Gil Haskell, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, and he told us that he wanted to line up Biaka Batuka and many of his other weapons in different positions to really throw off the Lions. And we saw it there right off the bat.
No question. Biaka Batuka, they want to get the ball in his hands as much as they possibly can. And this is just like a long lateral. And they get the football out there to Biaka Batuka, and then the tackle's missed by the rookie Claiborne. Biaka Batuka, a lot of yards after first contact, and that is the key. That's a running back. After he catches the football, he's a running back.
The Panthers with 2 tight ends. Mohammed goes to the sidelines. Biaka Batuka is now in the backfield behind Floyd, and there's Kamanga's first carry. Aldridge on the stop for Detroit. Alan Aldridge, as you look at the Lions defensively, up front, Scroggins gets the start along with Ellis, Jones, and Robert Porcher, who's getting better. A high ankle sprain has bothered him. Claiborne, the outstanding rookie from USC. Kolakowski, only 220 pounds in the middle. And there's Aldridge, who made that last tackle. In the secondary, Fair Rice, Carrier, the veteran, and Robert Bailey to start at left corner. Luther Ellis getting better, fighting off a growing problem. He's about 90%, they say, and going against Stoltenberg. 2nd down and 8. Flag down.
Carolina flinched up front, Doug. That's going to cost him 5 yards. Will get him off schedule. Now it'll be 2nd and long.
Our head referee, Ron Blum.
Ball start. 82 offense. 5 yards. Repeat 2nd down.
Blum, a 15-year veteran in the National Football League. And, you know, he's also a scratch golfer. We'll talk more about that. Ron, a man after my own heart.
Well, I'm not going to play in golf. I'll tell you. I'm leaving that up to you, my partner. You're scratch yourself. The only thing I scratch is my back.
2nd down and 13. Berline. Biaka Batuka. Right up the middle. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Gets those 5 yards back. Brings up 3rd down and long.
Now, Kolakowski is playing middle linebacker due to injury to Stephen Boyd. And Kolakowski is an undersized middle linebacker. I'll tell you what, he fills the hole pretty well right here, working against Redmond. Separates from the block. That's the key. Comes off William Floyd's block as well. Separates and then make a play. Kolakowski's active. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he's experienced and he's smart.
Mohammed, wide right. 3 wide receivers now for the Panthers. Biaka Batuka lining up behind Berline. Over the middle, Wesley Walls, 1st down, Carolina. Walls, what a weapon. Chris Claiborne on the tackle.
And what they do defensively is the Detroit Lions play the safety. They have one safety in the deep middle all the time. And the Carolina Panthers feel that there's room to work between the linebackers and the safety. You see carrier 27 is deep. He jumps on the underneath route. Wesley Walls down the field a little bit further between the hash marks. In front of Fair, over the linebacker. That's a pretty nice job by Carolina. Berline is accurate.
1st and 10 from the 34. Fred Lane in there now for Biaka Batuka. And he's thrown for a loss. Luther Ellis. They say he's 90%. He looked pretty darn good that time. And standing up Fred Lane.
What Luther Ellis does is he moves the line of scrimmage backwards. I mean, he is just a big, powerful, strong horse. That time, a little bit of a stunt, little penetration up front, disruption in the backfield, tackle for loss. That's like a quarterback sack. I mean, it's the same thing. You don't get the quarterback sack is the sexy stat, but you throw a running back for a 2-yard loss, you got him off schedule as much.
Eric Metcalf in the game now. Wide right, Mohammed wide left. Fred Lane still in there, along with Floyd in the backfield. This is Metcalf in motion, and he gets the handoff from Berline to reverse. He's got room to run. 1st down Carolina, knocked out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Eric Metcalf, the 11-year veteran.
Well, you know, he's still got the quickness. Everybody, both the Carolina Panthers and the opposition, the Detroit Lions, a healthy dose of respect for Metcalf. He comes in motion, takes the handoff in the reverse. Watch Frank Garcia down the field. That's the center. Hucking and bucking down there, working on carrier. That's pretty good hustle by Frank Garcia. I'll tell you that much right now to get the extra block for Metcalf.
17-yard pickup for Metcalf. 7th play of the drive. 1st and 10 from the 19. Fred Lane still in there. Berline wide open on the outside is Mohammed. And we're getting a taste of this explosive Carolina offense.
And doing a nice job of getting everybody involved. Metcalf on the reverse. Both running backs carrying the football. Throwing the ball to Biaka Batuka on 1st down. Getting the football down the football field. You know, running the hitch passes to the receivers. Throwing on 1st down. Running on 1st down. And they really got Detroit off balance right here. They got them back on their heels a little bit. Nice job of play calling and execution.
Ball's on the 14. Fred Lane is still in there, replacing Biaka Batuka. 2nd down and 5. Berline with lots of time. Fred Lane on the outside, and he's knocked out of bounds. Mark Carrier on the stop for Detroit.
Well, you got a deal where Coach Seifert loves to rotate the 2 backs. Biaka Batuka fighting a little bit of a hip flexor problem. So Fred Lane may get more snaps this week than he got last week because Biaka Batuka's not 100%. But Fred Lane, a little different style of running back, a little bit tougher. Run between the tackles, a little bit more thump, a little bit more power. A nice little change of pace.
Anthony Johnson checks in the backfield for Carolina. Berline on 3rd and 6. He's 4 for 4 for 50 yards. Now 5 for 5. Mohammed, the big receiver, battles inside the 5. J.B. Brown finally wrestled him down short of the goal line.
Big receiver for sure. Muhsin Mohammed, 6'2", 217 pounds. That's a load to bring down after the catch. Berline very accurate once again. I'll tell you, the whole key with Berline is rhythm and timing, and got the inside release against Brown. Ran that little lazy slant inside, and the ball was put right between the 8 and the 7 of Mohammed by Steve Berline.
Nate Newton has checked in at tackle for Carolina. Fred Lane in the backfield with William Floyd. And there's the handoff to Floyd. He gets stood up at the line of scrimmage and thrown back.
Actually, Nate Newton checks in as a tight end. He has to report eligible. He's wearing number 73. Big old Nate Newton. Now, his number, of course, with the Dallas Cowboys was 61. Redmond is wearing 61. Redmond would have given 61 up to Nate Newton, but he says, nah, go, you know, you can keep that. The reason he's wearing 73, Larry Allen. Redmond's wearing Nate Newton's old 61, so he said, I'm going to honor one of my former teammates. And Larry Allen wore number 73 for Dallas, so I'm going to put 73 on in his honor. Big Nate trying to figure out which side of the line of scrimmage to line up on.
2nd and goal. Fred Lane and William Floyd in the backfield. Lane gets thrown for a loss. Good penetration by the Detroit defense. Robert Porcher was in there.
You know, we find ourselves firmly in the red zone here. I mean, it's inside the 5-yard line. The Carolina Panthers, very, very successful in the red zone offensively. They've only been there as an offense 10 times, but they've scored 7 touchdowns. That 70% conversion ratio is outstanding. Now, they can't settle for a field goal here. That's unbelievable. 70% of the time scoring touchdowns. They need to get in the red zone more often. It's a good sign they got in the red zone in their first drive, but they have to cash in, not settle for field goals.
Anthony Johnson in motion. William Ford in the backfield. Here's Burline rolling out and throwing it away. It's going to be 4th down.
Applying the pressure for the Lions.
James Jones on the pressure for Detroit.
Yeah, and probably the best play that Burline made in this drive was throwing that one away. One thing you don't want to do in the red zone is turn it over. And then secondly, you don't want to take the quarterback sack. And he didn't do either. He threw the football away, and now he makes it a chip shot variety for Casey. 2 great kickers, as you've already talked about, Doug, in this football game.
Casey, a 21-yard attempt. Not a problem. The Panthers on the board, 3-0. An impressive drive that bogged down in the red zone. It was a time-consuming march for the Panthers, 8 minutes and 11 seconds. Tamanga Biakabatuka has that hip flexor problem, and we saw him leave the field after that catch, Dave, and apparently it's flaring up again.
Or it might even be a little bit of an ankle problem. I mean, he's definitely got something going on there. He did have the hip flexor coming in, but he got smashed on that fumble a little bit. May have twisted an ankle, but he's not right, that's for sure.
Casey kicking off for Carolina. Terry Fair will field at the 3-yard line. Oh, and he finds a gap. Terry Fair's got lots of speed. Casey slows him down. And Fair is brought down at the 42-yard line by Michael Swift. A 56-yard return by Terry Fair.
On the inside. Now you come up the football field. The wedge buster is doing his job. That's Richardson for the Carolina Panthers, busting it into the wedge. And he hits Pringley in the back of the head, back of the neck. And kind of stuns him a little bit, but Pringley did get up and get off the football field.
Charlie Batch right back to pass, right off the bat, incomplete. Good field position for the Lions on the 41-yard line. He was looking for his tight end, David Sloan.
Anytime your kicking game can give you a short field like the Detroit Lions kicking game has given their offense, you have to capitalize. You only have to negotiate 41, 42 yards. You can't settle for no points or field goal. You got to punch it in for a touchdown.
Schlesinger, the fullback. Ron Rivers, the running back, has the football. He's pushed to the outside and wrestled down. Big Sean Gilbert got out there, along with Brent Alexander. Charlie Batch, 8 touchdown passes, 6 picks this season, his 2nd season out of Eastern Michigan, battling injuries. There's the offensive line, speaking of injuries. Roberts, Blaze, Compton, Hardings, and Barrett Brooks. Ron Rivers, the running back. Schlesinger, the hard-nosed fullback. Morton, Crowell, and Sloan are the receivers. Jermaine Crowell is fast becoming the go-to guy for this Lions offense. Rivers is down in the field.
And that's not a good sight for the Detroit Lions. To have Rivers down and injured. It looks like they're taking a look at that. Can't see beyond the down marker. Is that the right ankle that they're looking at, I guess?
Bobby Ross looking on. Greg Hill will replace Rivers when we return. Carolina on top, 3-0.
Merrill Lynch. There's a new way to work with Merrill Lynch. Any way you want. And by Artisan Home Entertainment and the Blair Witch Project. Now available on video and DVD.
Ron Rivers on the sidelines, replaced by Greg Hill. It's 3rd down and 12 as Charlie Batch brings the Lions up the line of scrimmage. Hill in the backfield.
Empty
Back for the
backfield.
audible.
Empty backfield. Protection's going to be tough.
Batch the outside. Looking for Stabline. It'll bring up 4th down. Here's Rivers' injury, Dave.
Yeah, Ron Rivers, as he's being hit by Alexander, watch his right foot when he plants right there. He gets that right foot twisted. Alexander falls on the back of it. So Rivers has got to plant it on the turf, and Alexander kind of caves it from the outside in.
And there's Biaka Batuka. He has a twisted right ankle going to the locker room. His return is probable. John Jett punting to Metcalf. A towering punt well into the end zone. And the Panthers will start their second drive from the 20-yard line. A 43-yard punt by John Jett. We'll be back. Carolina on top right here on Fox. Steve Berline and the Panthers. Their second possession. The first one started at the 20-yard line as well. Fred Lane in there. Biaka Batuka in the locker room. 3 wide. Here's Fred Lane over the left side. Breaks a tackle. First down. Mark Carrier with the stop. A 13-yard gain for Fred Lane.
Nothing fancy there. Just Lane showing the toughness that George Seifert talks about. I mean, here's a kid that just gets after it. And yards after contact, extraordinary there. Fred Lane runs like he wants to get it done. Pretty good surge by the Panther offensive line. Nobody separates from the blocks effectively enough. Kolakowski is too late, and Lane is into the secondary.
It looks like the old T formation. Jeffers now in motion. And again, Fred Lane, big gaping hole right up the middle. Again, Carrier playing center field with another tackle.
Lane is going to get his lion's share of carries today against the Lions. It looks like Biaka Batuka has got a hip flexor problem, compounded now with the right ankle problem. So if you get a thoroughbred that's broken down, the legs are broken down, he's not a thoroughbred anymore. So then you go to the mule a little bit and let Lane just pound away at him.
Nobody in the backfield. Fred Lane with a shift. Anthony Johnson has replaced Floyd. It's 2nd down and 1. Berline looking deep for Jeffers. Just beyond his reach. Jeffers had a step on Robert Bailey. Big size difference there as well.
Fred Lane showing that he's a complete football player on that occasion. You not only have to run the football and catch as a running back, you have to block. Fred Lane, number 32 to the right of the screen. Nice blitz pickup right there. Working against the defensive end. That was Pringley. Took him right to the turf.
It's 3rd down and 1. The Panthers were 2 out of 3 on 3rd down conversions in that opening drive. William Floyd is back in there. And again, Jeffers in motion. Oh, the dangerous pass almost picked off. Looking for Muhammad. Robert Bailey broke it up. Ken Walter comes on to punt for the Panthers.
Well, when you have a 3rd and 1, those are the plays that you have to convert. That's a painful 3rd down situation not to move the chains on, I'll tell you.
Cedric Irvin is deep for the Lions. Irvin lets it bounce, and it takes a Carolina bounce out of bounds at the 11-yard line. A 47-yard kick. Most of that was the bounce. Hey, don't forget, on November 7th, bass fishing is coming to Fox as the top anglers in the world go for over $3.5 million in prize money in the Ranger Boats 1 Millennium Tournament. It's live bass fishing like you've never seen before. Sunday, November 7th, only on Fox. And Dave, you being the fisherman you are, I know you're pumped up about that, huh?
I'll tell you what, I'm into those largemouth bass, you know? And you can win a lot of money in those bass fishing tournaments. I'll tell you what.
No kidding. You catch bass, you catch a big check. There's Greg Hill. A first down and knocked out of bounds. Doug Evans finally pushed him out of bounds. Hill, the speedster out of Texas A&M. It took him 3 or 4 weeks to really learn the offense, and he's gotten comfortable.
Well, nice blocking up front. Schlesinger gets a nice little lead block on Michael Barrow, kicks him out, and Greg Hill is decisive. He hits that hole. His biggest attribute is acceleration. He gets from 0 to 60 quickly.
An 11-yard pickup for Hill. Schlesinger, the fullback, in motion. 1st and 10. Back with lots of time. Let's go to an NFL update now with Joe Buck at the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles.
All right, thank you, Doug. In Minnesota, Leroy Horde on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line into the end zone. So far, so good for Jeff George, a quarterback. He was 3 for 3 on that opening drive. 7-3 over the 49ers late first quarter. Back to Doug and Dave in Carolina.
Joe, thank you. Last week, Jeff George stepped in and did a terrific job in replacing Randall Cunningham. Moss was his big man last week, Dave.
Boy, it was a pitch and catch for those two guys. Jeff George, even in tight coverage, he allowed his receivers to make plays.
Again, Schlesinger, the fullback. Hill at tailback. 2nd down and 10. Hill goes nowhere. The Panthers are tough up the gut. Michael Barrow was in there. And on the bottom of the pile, Kevin Green.
And the guy that disrupted the play from word go was Sean Gilbert. And Sean Gilbert is a load. And Sean Gilbert is going to match up that he likes, because he's working against a guy, Curlin Blaze, that's a 2nd-year player, originally a college free agent. Sean Gilbert should be able to take advantage of that matchup. In that particular occasion, he got immense penetration.
3rd down and 10 from the 23. Again, Greg Hill in the backfield. Batch with a screen to Hill. And it's intercepted. Sean Gilbert. The big fella with a pick.
It went through Michael Barrow's hands, and Sean Gilbert showed the athletic ability and came up with the football. 2nd interception of the season for the Carolina Panthers. They only had 1 interception coming into today's game, make it 2. Little screen pass that's being set up. Charlie Batch tries to time it up. This one-handed action by Hill doesn't get it done. Barrow can't control the ball, but it ends right up in Sean Gilbert's hands. Nice job by staying active and staying with the football, pursuing to the football, and it pays off for Gilbert. His hustle in closing to the ball results in a takeaway for his defensive football team.
The Panthers in business on the 14. Anthony Johnson in the backfield. Burline setting up the screen. There's Johnson. Gets a good block. Rumbles down inside the 5-yard line. Another 1st down. Brian Stoltenberg, a terrific lead block for the Panthers.
And the guy that got it started, the first block in the screen, was thrown by Frank Garcia. Frank Garcia cut somebody right to the turf, and the guy that got this whole drive started is Sean Gilbert with the interception. But nice job by the center and left guard. Stoltenberg, a former center, pairing up with the current center, Garcia. Center and left guard get out there in the screen and threw nice blocks.
The ball is on the 3-yard line. William Floyd back in there along with Fred Lane. This is Floyd. Tripped up almost just as he got the football by Carrier.
Yeah, that was a run blitz. They brought the safety that time. 1st and goal situation. The last time Carolina was in the red zone, 1st and goal, they settled for field goal. That's 11 trips in the red zone now with 7 touchdowns. Let's see what they do on their 12th journey to the red zone. Good news is they're already in the red zone for the 2nd time. They can't be settling for field goal opportunities.
Closing in on 1 minute to play in the first quarter. It's 2nd and goal. The ball is now on the 4. He lost a yard. Fred Lane, William Floyd in the backfield. Wesley Walls in motion. Burline throws it up for grabs, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Mark Carrier. Bad decision by Burline.
Pressure was a factor. Steve Burline threw that football falling away from the line of scrimmage. Never was able to set his feet and transfer his weight. Pressure off the edge caused him to underthrow that football. He never really did get an opportunity to plant the right foot. Claiborne, the big rookie, comes upfield and pushes Burline backwards. So he's throwing the football, and his momentum is going away from the line of scrimmage. That causes the underthrow. The interception goes to Carrier. The heavy assist goes to Claiborne.
That was the SC connection. Claiborne, the rookie from Southern Cal. Carrier, the 10-year vet.
Exactly.
1st and 10 from the 20. Charlie Batch back in business to the outside. To Jermaine Crowell, his first grab.
Now, Steve Burline is a quarterback that's in a great rhythm and making good decisions. On this particular occasion, though, he missed the Muhsin Muhammad. He's open on the back line of the end zone in the middle of the field, but Steve Burline can't find him. Can't see him. Should have thrown the ball a little bit quicker earlier, but the pressure caused him to hold on to the ball and underthrow it.
2 tight ends in there for the Lions, and Greg Hill is brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Rick Terry. Terry played his college ball at North Carolina, and he loves the fact that he's playing here for the Panthers.
And really, back to Berline for a second, his whole success is based on rhythm and timing. And the Detroit Lions, Claiborne, disrupted his rhythm and timing for Bobby Ross's Lions on that turnover.
Remind all of you that coming up Thursday night, November 11th,
That's the end of the first quarter. The Panthers on top 3-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. On top of the Lions as we begin the second quarter, Doug Bell alongside Dave Lapham, Tim Biakabatuka came back onto the field, and he's going to go back inside. That ankle just is not right. Cedric Irvin in the backfield for the Lions. On 3rd down, Charlie Batch. And it's a first down. Jermaine Crowell on the slant.
Well, they made a heavy living on the slant last week against the Vikings, and that time he ran the slant on Davis. Crowell is a specimen. This kid, his speed-size ratio is amazing. He had a great opening game against the Seattle Seahawks and has kind of sustained it from there. He's 6'3", 212 pounds, runs a 4.3 40 and has a 38-inch vertical. That's an athlete.
Not bad. 1st and 10 from the 35. Batch with lots of time. That has not been a problem today. And he has an open receiver. His tight end, David Sloan, first grab, another first down, and he's knocked out of bounds. Sloan has become quite a weapon. Now here's a big guy, 6'6", 260. Didn't start playing football until after his high school basketball career. And it's taken him about 2.5 years, Dave, to get healthy again. He's had some problems with his knees.
Exactly. Since 1996, this is the most fluid that he's been running. And Charlie Batch did a great job in terms of being fluid, keeping himself alive. Not scrambling, but slide stepping, keeping his eyes down the field to find Sloan.
3 wide receivers. Greg Hill back in there, has the football, hops over 1 tackler, and brought down by Rick Terry. Terry has been active for the Panthers defense.
Greg Hill is going to get a lot of carries today as well because Rivers' return seems in doubt. Well, Greg Hill may be the man today, and he's capable of being the man. Greg Hill has got tremendous acceleration, as I said before. When he makes his decision and squares his shoulder pads up to the line of scrimmage, he's coming after you now.
2nd down and 6. The ball on the 44-yard line. Schlesinger back in there at fullback. Batch with the audible. Play clock was all the way down. The ball was caught and fumbled out of bounds. Ryan Stabline on the reception. Coughed it up out of bounds. Flag down on the play.
They have a personal foul on the quarterback. I mean, they came with a double blitz. 2 linebackers, Dante Jones and Steve Tovar. And they put a hit on Batch that might have been of the illegal variety.
Helmet to the head of the quarterback. 15 yards, first down.
And Steve Tovar is the one that gets called. Both linebackers came fairly clean on the blitz. There's Dante Jones on the edge. There's Tovar up the gut. And Steve Tovar Coco butts Charlie Batch. I mean, it was like World Wrestling Federation with helmets on. You can't go head-to-head, helmet to helmet with the quarterback. That cost Michael Barrow $7,500 last week. I wonder if it's going to cost Steve Tovar a similar amount of money this week.
I think so. He left his feet. 2 tight ends in there for the Lions. 1st and 10 from the 25. Greg Hill in the backfield. Going to his left side. Short gain. Mike Minter on the stop.
I can understand why the Detroit Lions are trying to establish their running game. The Carolina Panthers find themselves second to last in the National Football League defending the run coming in, giving up about 145 yards per game on the ground. Bobby Ross feels like if he can get his running game established, everything else falls into place. Play action passing and then being able to stretch the field.
2nd down and 9, 8th play of the drive. Remember, it started on the 20 following that interception in the end zone. Batch
Yeah, they call Dante Jones.
Crowell, and that's pass interference.
Yeah, they're calling Dante Jones for taking a ride there on Stabline, isn't it?
It looked like Crowell. We'll check.
But Dante Jones is on the back before the arrival of the football.
You're right, it was Stabline, the intended receiver.
Pass interference, 54 defense. First down, Detroit.
Now, you can't go through the receiver to make a play on the football. And Dante Jones, I don't know, maybe you should give a quarter for that ride that he took right there.
That's Sam Mills talking it over with Dante Jones.
You see right in the middle of the screen, coming in from the right of the screen, right there, Dante Jones is making contact with Stabline before the arrival of the football, going through the receiver to try to make a play on the ball. No can do.
First and 10 from the 21. Batch over the middle for his tight end. It's caught by David Sloan, and he's brought down by Steve Tovar.
They got a flag here on the near side of the field. I don't know if Carolina lined up offsides or not. Let's see what the call is. See what takes place here.
Again, Ron Blum, our referee, trying to sort things out. This drive for the Lions started back on the 20-yard line.
Wonder how many clubs he carries in that bag, being that scratch golfer.
Illegal hands to the face. 25 defense, 5 yards. First down, Detroit.
Ron is a scratch golfer.
Yeah, he's got a 0 handicap.
Being a referee, I wonder when he's on the course with his buddies, does he know the rule book in golf as well as he knows the NFL rule book? Must be tough to play with.
Oh, you scratch golfers, you guys kill me. I can't. That's a different game. That's not golf in my book. I'm playing par.
First down. Back to the outside. Johnny Morton's first catch of the day.
You know, a lot of teams are using that hitch pass very effectively. I like it. If you have a cornerback giving you cushion, it's like a long lateral. Get it out there. It's like running a sweep. It's like running a football for 4 or 5 yards on first down. You got a nice little cushion there on Evans. Runs a little hitch. Make Evans close the ball. Now, if Evans doesn't finish the tackle, of course, Kevin Green hustling inside out pursuit helps. But a missed tackle there, you get a touchdown. Now you're on schedule, 2nd and 6. That's a sound play.
It's 2nd down and 6 from the 12. Schlesinger in motion. Greg Hill in the backfield. Batch looking for his tight end. And missed David Sloan, who was going left with a pass going to the right.
Well, they brought Alexander, the safety, on a blitz. And he smoked in there clean. And he hurried Charlie Batch. Charlie Batch never had an opportunity to get rid of this football. Alexander comes totally clean. Hardings tries to come off his block late, but can't quite get there. Hardings is a throwback, Doug. Here's a guy that's playing with a cracked rib and could not react quickly enough to reroute himself to pick up Alexander.
3rd down and 6. The crowd on their feet. Cedric Irvin in the backfield. Batch to Irvin. Cuts back. Touchdown. No, we'll check it. He's short of the goal line. It's a first down, that's for sure.
Boy, what a move. It's going to be 1st and goal in the shadow of the goal line. What a move that Irvin put on Damian Richardson. Little check down. Here he comes on the check down. Watch the move right here. Plants, cuts back. That's rack and pinion steering right there to make that kind of move. And Damian Richardson's an 18-wheeler flying out into space.
1st and goal from the 1. Schlesinger at fullback. Sloan in motion. Cedric Irvin going nowhere. Doug Evans up in there for the stop. There's Mike Barrow on the bottom of the pile.
Goal line defense is nothing but want to.
Number 59, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal, repeat first down.
So instead of 3/4 of a yard, it's what's half of 3/4? Whatever that might be. I don't know. I didn't learn my fractions all that well from Mrs. Riley, but it's close to the end zone, that's for sure. If you're going to make a mistake and go half the distance to the goal line, that's the place to do it. Unfortunately, though, it nullifies a tackle for loss on 1st and goal. That's painful.
Cedric Irvin back in there behind Schlesinger, 2 tight ends. Batch on the rollout, looking for his tight end Sloan. No go.
Nice job by Evans. Great coverage. So that's the size mismatch there. That's the one-on-one matchup that we were talking about in the open that Charlie Batch has got to look for in the red zone. He gets his 6'6" tight end coming in motion. Sloan times it, so he's not going at forward motion, gets up the field. Evans, he's yanking that jersey a little bit to make sure the big guy doesn't get separation, then gets his hand on the football. You know, if you tug that jersey at the right time and let go, sometimes it goes undetected.
Detroit, first charge.
A timeout for the Lions. First timeout for Bobby Ross and his ball club. It's 3-0 Carolina, but Detroit is on the verge. It's 2nd down and 1, the 12th play of the drive. Charlie Batch and the Lions looking to go in front. Cedric Irvin in the backfield behind Schlesinger. Irvin waltzes in without being touched, and that is a touchdown, Detroit.
Nice blocking up front by the Lions front line. And that's only the 2nd rushing touchdown of the season by the running backs. Irvin scores the rushing touchdown. Batch had scored. Let's take a look at what's going on up front here. Pretty good push at the line of scrimmage. And, of course, Schlesinger, one of the best lead blockers, and he detonates Evans. And Irvin goes inside that little kickout block. And like you said, Doug, he would have scored in one-hand touch. Nobody put a fingernail on him.
Jason Hansen for the extra point. Not a problem. Detroit on top, 7-3. Cedric Irvin has come on. Ron Rivers injured. Irvin with a touchdown. The Fox. And check this out, Dave. That's what happened to Burline.
Yeah, really.
He took the bait down there and threw the interception.
He sure did. And I'll tell you what, fishing frustrates me. All I get is a sunburn. I'm out there for hours and don't get any nibbles.
Jason Hansen. Michael Bates fields it at the 5. Flag down. Bates brought down at the 21-yard line.
Yeah, they got an illegal block in the back executed by Carolina that's going to cost them some field position. Mullen in the back of Keywalt. That's going to put Carolina with a horrible starting point to this drive.
Legal block in the back, 28 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, timeout.
Roderick Mullen was the culprit, and that'll put the Panthers backwards. They trail 7-3. The Carolina Panthers backed up to the 8-yard line. They self-destructed somewhat. 6 penalties now for 35 yards. Brian Kinchin, the backup tight end, is in there along with Wesley Walls. That's Fred Lane in motion. And William Floyd. And Dave, I know you like to break down the game using your 3 T's, right?
Exactly, Doug. You know, in any football game, the most important thing is turnover ratio. That wins and loses football games, and Carolina still finds themselves at -5. It's even Stevens Day. They've got one, they've given one away. 3rd down conversion, they're 23rd in the NFL. Time of possession, that's what's been killing them. 29th in the league. 3rd down conversion, time of possession are related. And it's interesting because Carolina is very, very good on 1st down. It does not translate to 3rd down because a lot of big plays on 1st down.
Again, 2 tight ends, and he finds one of them, Wesley Walls. Walls having an all-pro season, 6 touchdowns so far in his 11th season out of Ole Miss. Big target, and we saw him in practice the other day, Dave. I tell you, the guy never drops a pass.
He's gifted. You know, he's got 6 touchdown catches. 5 of those are in the red zone. He's caught a touchdown pass, at least one in every game this season. Walls understands how to run routes. you know, option routes, how to use his body against linebackers to screen them off.
Third down and short. Again, 2 tight ends. William Floyd in the backfield along with Fred Lane. And Lane slips up short of the first down. It's a punting situation. Let's go to our Fox Network Center in L.A. and Joe Buck with another NFL update.
All right, Doug, the Jeff George era off to a good start in Minnesota. He hits Matthew Hatchett in stride for an 80-yard touchdown throw. 16th touchdown pass allowed by San Francisco this year. That's the worst in the league. Let's go back to Carolina, Doug and Dave.
Okay, Joe, thank you. Doug Bell along with Dave Lapham. We'll hear from Jennifer Hammond at halftime. Ken Walter will punt away for Carolina.
You know, nobody ever questioned Jeff George's arm strength and ability. It's all the other stuff.
Uwazaki is deep. Iani Uwazaki calls for the fair catch. Bobbles the football, but manages to hang on at the 42-yard line. It was a 42-yard punt. The Lions will take over and leading 7-3. Top 7-3. Let's go down to the third member of our broadcast team, Jennifer Hammond, with an injury update. Jennifer?
Well, Cedric Irvin and Greg Hill will have to continue to carry the ground load for the Lions. Ron Rivers taken off by Cart. He has a sprained right ankle, and his return is doubtful at this point. Guys?
Jennifer, thank you. Greg Hill in there right now. Cedric Irvin looked pretty good in scoring that touchdown. It's 1st and 10 from the 43. Back to the outside. Johnny Morton. Nifty move. Down the sideline. Brought down at the 26 by Mike Minter.
Well, they're setting up Evans a little bit with this hitch. And what I talked about earlier, a guy like Morton, it becomes, look at the cushion that Evans has given him. Now Morton now he's a running back. Make him miss. And he did. He made Evans miss. And Kevin Green couldn't quite get there with the inside-out pursuit. And down the field they go for very, very strong yardage before Minter can finish. So it's just like a running back out there in the open field. You have to be a sure tackler. Yards after reception was big there.
29-yard pickup, 1st and 10 from the 32. 2 tight ends. Greg Hill with the football. Over the right side. Showing some of that burst. Brent Alexander collars him out of bounds.
Well, Greg Hill has definitely got the foot speed. He's probably quicker overall and more acceleration than Rivers gives you out there. But the reason Hill wasn't getting as many snaps as Rivers is, there are other things besides running the football. Blitz pickup is a consideration. There's no doubt that Hill can get to the edge, can get to the perimeter. That time he bounced the play and picked up 4 yards. But you have to be able to protect the quarterback as well and know which way to go in blitz pickup and block people.
Hill with 18 yards so far. Batch play action fake. Wide open, Johnny Morton. And he's pushed out of bounds at the 13 by Doug Evans. When you can run the football, that play action is so effective. And Morton was wide open.
And really a nice job of executing this play. Morton is the beneficiary. He runs a little bit of a inside route, plants, pivots back. A little bit of a pivot route. Wide open. They lost track of him in the zone coverage. Then he stiff arms Evans. The reason that play was so successful, a run fake to the right, and then Batch rolled to his right a little bit behind the right tackle and threw back to Morton on the pivot route.
That was a 15-yard pickup from the 13. Again, Greg Hill falls forward. Mike Rucker grabbed him around the ankles.
Now, Detroit finds themselves in the red zone. Last time they were in the red zone, Irvin rushed for his 2nd touchdown of the season. He's got both of the rushing touchdowns for the running backs for the Detroit Lions. Charlie Batch, the quarterback, has the 3rd rushing touchdown. Let's see if Carolina can hold up on this particular scenario and hold this to nothing but a handsome field goal opportunity.
2nd down and 8 from the 11. Schlesinger, the fullback in motion. Greg Hill lines up behind Batch. Over the middle for his tight end. Looking for David Sloan. Mike Minter was right there. Probably got a hand in there and broke up the pass.
And once again, looking for those one-on-one matchups in the red zone. Sloan coming off the line of scrimmage, running right down the hash marks, a little bit of a slant, and Minter does get his hand on the football. A free release. Nobody even reroutes the big-body tight end. Minter does deflect the football, though. A little bit more air under that football because Sloan has the size advantage. 6'6", operating against 5'10".
3 wide receivers. Cedric Irvin is checked into the backfield. 3rd down and 8. Here comes the blitz. Batch to Sloan, who can't hold on. Doug Evans on the coverage. It'll bring up a field goal opportunity.
Well, Batch took a hit. Richardson detonated him. Comes on the blitz. Here he comes inside, unblocked. And Batch sees him, gets rid of the football, and delivers the ball accurately enough for Sloan to make a play on it, but he just can't secure the football.
Jason Hansen will attempt a field goal of 30 yards. And it's good. Lions on top, 10-3 on the 30-yard boot by Jason Hansen. Tonight on Fox, can Hank help Bill reclaim his high school football record on an all-new King of the Hill? And Homer becomes a famous food critic on an all-new Simpsons, followed by Futurama and last season's shocking finale, The X-Files. It all starts with the world's funniest tonight at 7, 6 Central on Fox.
You know, Jason Hansen, he's an unbelievable concentrator, and he goes through a ritual. Look, it's almost like a martial arts deal. He locks in that right ankle and right foot. He's got his chest upright, and he has a tremendous follow-through. But the way he stands there, it almost looks like Grasshopper. Yes, Grasshopper, before he addresses that football. And it's nothing metaphysical. It's nothing, you know, he's not speaking to the spirits. He's just locking that foot and ankle, and he has to keep his chest upright, so he puts his hands out there for balance. And it works. Hansen has got the highest percentage of anybody inside 50 yards during the decade of the 90s. He's strong.
A 7-play, 46-yard drive by the Lions. Hansen is a heck of a weapon, as is John Casey, two excellent field goal kickers. Last week, Hansen had 6 field goals to tie the Lions record set by Garo Yepremian. The former Dolphins kicker kicked for the Lions back in 1966.
And actually, he had to make 7 on the game-winning field goal. He made it, and then the play clock expired. He had to kick it from 5 yards deeper.
It's a pitching wedge shot fielded by Michael Bates at the 12. Good coverage by Bates. Gets up to the 26, but then he gets mowed over.
You know, we mentioned 6 field goals that Hansen delivered last week. He was outstanding. And you can see the same mechanics as he approaches the football. It never deviates. He's got a tremendous leg whip, the follow-through. Look at the elevation. Immediate elevation of the football. He kicks it over the uprights, not between the uprights, from even short distances. Extremely accurate. He's a machine out there. And his concentration level is extraordinary. You're not going to make him break concentration ever.
Biaka Batuka is back in there for the Panthers. He's taped up, and he's going to give it a go. Berline back. Wide open is Jeffers. A good look at Jeffers, who last season was one of the favorite targets of Troy Aikman. He was sad to see Jeffers go the free agent route.
And Jeffers has run this motion in the slot with the Denver Broncos, so he gets it. He understands the subtleties of the routes to be run. He presents himself as a big target. I mean, these Carolina Panthers are big. He's 6'3". Mohammed is 6'2". Hayes is 6'4". So Berline's got plenty of body to throw at, and Jeffers runs nice routes.
You saw the measurement. Just a few inches shy of a first down. It'll be second down and very short from the 36.
Another Virginia receiver. Herman more injured today, but Crowell, Jeffers, I'll tell you, the Cavaliers put out some receivers.
Again, Biaka Batuka in the backfield with William Floyd. Berline looking for Mohammed. Too high. Mohammed having a terrific season.
Yeah, Mohammed is having a strong year. And I think that the Detroit Lions have accomplished something they set out to do, and that is to get Steve Berline out of rhythm. And I think the interception that he threw in the end zone has continued to bother him a little bit. You have to have amnesia, selective amnesia. And Steve Berline, no pressure that time. His release point was too high, and the ball sailed on him. And if you can get Steve Berline out of rhythm and disrupt that timing, you might have some success.
Third down, and again, very short. Biakabatuka lines up behind Floyd. A problem with a handoff. I'm not sure he got it.
He collided with Berline.
He got it.
Yeah, Steve Berline never really got the snap cleanly at the line of scrimmage, and he was trying to gain control of the football in the exchange from Garcia, and that disrupted the whole thing. The snap is double clutch. Berline's trying to grab it a second and third time, then he and Biakabatuka collide. Biakabatuka shows good contact balance there to lower his shoulder pads and still get the first down.
Again, 2 tight ends in there for the Panthers on first down from the 38. Biakabatuka lines up behind Berline. Wesley Walls on the reception, brought down quickly by Alan Aldridge.
Wesley Walls worked out, lifted weights very, very hard in the offseason. And Wesley Walls played linebacker in his collegiate career, and he said he lifted like when he was at linebacker. He really got himself a lot stronger. This is a great athlete. I mean, he's played quarterback, he's played linebacker, he's played wide receiver, he's played tight end during the course of his football career at all levels. I mean, he is a very, very gifted athlete.
And again, that T formation look. Jeffers in motion now. Berline with plenty of time. Jeffers comes back with a grab. First down. Brought down at the 37, Alan Aldridge. Yanks him out of bounds.
And the tackle is missed by Chris Claiborne. If Chris Claiborne can make the initial hit on Jeffers, it's probably 15 yards less in terms of yards gained. There have been a lot of yards after catch, after contact today. Jeffers, Claiborne can't make the play. Jeffers turns it upfield for at least another 15 yards before Aldridge catches up to him and runs him out of bounds. Jeffers is right in the middle of the T formation, goes in motion. He understands the subtleties of these motion routes. Then he runs an arrow right down the middle of the field.
Nobody in the backfield. Berline flushed out of the pocket. First and 10 from the 36. A dangerous pass that could have been intercepted. The Panthers and their fans want a flag. William Floyd was the intended receiver.
Rice made a nice play on the football. And the reason there's no interference is Rice turned around and got his head turned and found the football. And he has a right to that spot in the field as well.
The Lions on top 10-3. 1:56 to play before halftime in Charlotte.
Both guys were pushing, chicken fighting there a little bit. He got his head turned around, deflected the ball, no foul.
Second and 10 from the 36. Again, no one in the backfield behind Berline. Plenty of time. Flag down. The interception. And Berline makes the hit on Ron Rice.
Well, they're going to call defensive holding on Richard Jordan, the linebacker. He held Wesley Walls, and I think that's the reason the ball was overthrown. I mean, there are 2 flags. I think that might be one of them. There may be a defensive infraction. Wesley Walls was being molested a little bit by Richard Jordan during his route. That's the call.
Good spot, Dave. And a good thing for Steve Berline. Berline really delivered a shot on Ron Rice, and Berline was a little shaken up when he got up. The helmet was a little sideways, and
he was looking through the air hole a little bit, huh?
That was a pop.
99, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Yeah, Berline went to his tight end. He saw the matchup. I got my tight end on a linebacker. I'm going to get him the football. The tight end, Jordan, said, oh my gosh, that's Wesley Walls. I got to hold him. He's got me beaten. The ball was overthrown, nullifying the interception.
First and 10 now from the 31. Again, the Lions on top 10-3. Closing in on halftime here at Erickson Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Biakabatuka in motion. Patrick Jeffers gets close to the first down. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Joe Buck, Ron Pitts, and Marv Levy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
This is a 30-second timeout.
Timeout, Carolina.
First charge, team timeout.
And Dave, that sports ticker is unique. All the fantasy football people like that, including Steve Berline's brother Mike, who lives in Huntington Beach, California. He's a big fantasy football guy. And he said, you know, he got a lot of hisses, a lot of boos when he actually chose his brother.
Yep.
But his brother's having a great year, and he chose Muhammad and Fred Lane and Wesley Walls, so he's cashing in on his brother's team.
You know what? I'd have to appeal to the governor of fantasy football, though. That's insider information. That's family information that everybody doesn't have privilege and access to. That's like the SEC on insider trading. That's inside info right there for fantasy football. I'd take it to kangaroo court. I'd see Judge Watner or somebody.
We might have gotten his brother in trouble.
Yeah, really. Man, you got to police it somehow. Keep it in the family, all in the family. Good numbers, percentage-wise. Berline's accuracy showing up again. But the interception was a big one because it was in the red zone, in the end zone, for nullifying a potential score.
Second down and less than a yard from the 22. Floyd and Biaka-Batuka in the backfield. Berline on the draw to Biaka-Batuka. First down, Carolina. Kelvin Pritchett on the tackle.
Timeout, Carolina. Second charge, team timeout.
Panthers with their second timeout. 1:23 on the clock.
Well, Chris Terry, the big rookie tackle at right tackle for the Carolina Panthers, a former defensive lineman at Georgia. They took him in the second round. Long arms, longest arms in the draft. 37-inch arms. Look at him extend those arms on Porsche on the draw play. One arm kind of controls Porsche. You know, Terry, I think he can tie his shoes without bending over. 37-inch arms. I mean, that's like a condor out there. Longest arms in that draft coming out is not, and with an offensive lineman, pass protection is key. You need long arms and quick feet. Former defensive lineman, he's very agile. He's got the quick feet, and look at those long arms. So you can jam and extend and keep linemen away from you and move your feet to stay in front of them. This kid's going to be a good pass blocker in the National Football League for a lot of years.
He was a second-round selection for Carolina. They liked him, but they weren't sure at the time they drafted him he'd be the stalwart there at right tackle. Anthony Johnson in there now, in motion. Carolina looking for Johnson down inside the 5.
Now this is Carolina's third penetration in the red zone. Berline calling the timeout. They've had an interception, settled for a field goal. Going to have to do a little bit better on this occasion. Red zone execution or non-execution has hurt them so far today offensively.
That went for 14 yards. Berline to Johnson. We saw Johnson in practice the other day, and he was looking good running this offense. And we asked the coaches if he would figure into the game plan, and they said, well, maybe.
Yeah, and Anthony Johnson, the thing that he provides, here's Gil Haskell up in the booth right here, former Green Bay Packer coach. Super Bowl rings hanging off his fingers that gives him instantaneous credibility, and he's done a really masterful job of getting everybody involved in his offense. And the key is, of course, the trigger man, Steve Berline. 10 touchdown passes on the season, tied for third most in the National Football League. He did throw his 7th interception of the season earlier in this football game, though.
10th play of the drive that started on the 27. It's now first and goal from the 4. 1:07 on the clock. Anthony Johnson in the backfield. Berline with lots of time, hanging in the pocket, flag down. Looking for Muhammad.
Looked like Jeffers was held in the end zone. The Detroit Lions clamped on Patrick Jeffers in the middle of the end zone. Let's see if they call defensive holding here.
Holding, 35 defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Robert Bailey is the gentleman that gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Jeffers runs a little option route, and absolutely, I mean, Bailey grabs him and tries to rip through him to get frontal position and to box him out like in basketball for a rebound, but you can't reach, grab the shoulder pads, and pull yourself through, and he was caught.
Biaka-Batuka back in there for the Panthers, along with William Floyd. Biaka-Batuka wide right. Jeffers in the slot. Floyd in motion. In the end zone. looking for Walls. Missed it.
And Walls is looking for interference again. He thought that Rice tangled up with him. Well, maybe their feet tangled up, but that's incidental. But this is where Walls is so dangerous. I mean, he's got 6 touchdown receptions. 5 of them have come in the red zone and in the goal-to-go area. Berline said, hey, my man Wesley Walls, he doesn't stumble around like that without somebody doing it to him. Look, he got tripped.
Berline 12 of 19 for 142 yards. Jeffords in motion. Into the corner of the end zone. Overshoots Wesley Walls.
And Berline got blown up. Boy, a couple of defensive linemen meet at the quarterback, and they were pretty big. James Jones and Porcher, and Berline was the meat of the sandwich between those 2 down linemen. Steve Berline, a little play action fake to Biaka Batuka. Well, here come the 2 big boys, Jones and Porcher. Steve Berline is fighting for his life right there. Porcher trying to come back from a high ankle sprain that's bothering him for a while. He's not quite 100% yet either. 3 quarterback sacks in the first game in the season opener.
2 tight ends, tension in motion now. Berline tripped up and thrown for a loss. He was finished off by Claiborne, the rookie.
Porcher penetrated and clipped him at his feet and stumbled due to Porcher's penetration, and Claiborne finalized. So have to settle for another field goal opportunity in the red zone. They were so efficient coming in, 70% of the time scoring touchdowns. Can't buy one today. Good red zone defense by the Detroit Lions. Porcher accelerates, gets a hold of Berline stumbling, and Claiborne says, you're going down, and he did.
John Casey, the left-footed kicker out of Georgia, the 9-year veteran. Again, 2 terrific field goal kickers, a 31-yarder right down the middle. It's 10-6.
Well, the difference in this game so far has been red zone. Execution in the red zone and lack thereof. And the Detroit Lions, Urban scored a touchdown rushing, finishing a red zone drive, whereas the Carolina Panthers have not been able to pierce the goal line yet.
Hey, Dave, 8 questions, $1
million.
Yep.
Ha, I'll take my shot.
No problem, he says.
8 questions. They can't be too hard, though. Can I pick the question? Yeah, check. Here are the future Carolina Panthers. Cavaliers. We're not talking Virginia Cavaliers. Look at these guys now. They're all ready to play some football. They had a little pregame meal. Number 21 right here. I tell you, he's got to get his head a little bit thicker, a little bit wider to fill that helmet up. You know, that thing can kind of corkscrew on him pretty easily, but you know, he's got the buggy whips going. Biaka Batuka. He's trying to, 121's trying to become just like the other 21. I'm not sure if he's got the foot speed of Biaka Batuka yet.
Terry Fairfield's it at the 5. The line drive kick from Casey. He is so quick on his feet and works his way up to the 33. 14 seconds left before halftime. A return of 29 yards for Terry Fair, who's very excited with the outcome of yesterday's game in the Southeastern Conference when his alma mater, Tennessee, knocked off Alabama. And Terry told us that, hey, the Vols are getting in position to make their run to defend their national title.
Arguably the best one-loss team in the country at this point in time. And they're positioning themselves. I mean, they'll probably be in the SEC championship game and be in the BCS, no doubt.
Charlie Batch goes to one knee. And the Lions will go to the locker room with a 10-6 lead. That's the end of the first half. Again, the score, 10-6. Joe Buck, Ron Pitts, Marv Levy will be along for the Visa halftime report next after this word from your local. The Panthers pounce on the football. A big hit. Mike Minter.
That's exactly what you'd like to have happen to start a half, is a big play in the kicking game. And Carolina has given their offense an ultra short field. They're on the verge of the red zone immediately. Fair's got the ball in the proper arm. He's got it in the outside arm, but Minter puts his helmet and shoulder pad right on the football. That's just a great hit by Minter. Terry Fair's going to have a little bit better idea of ball security there, and it bounces harmlessly to the turf, and falling on it is Sherlock. Well, that's a big play to start the half right there.
Quite a stick by Minter. Biakabatuka back in there along with Floyd. Berline straight back, lots of time. Wide open Patrick Jeffers.
You know, Bobby Ross talked about the controlled passing game. Minter made the big hit to start the Carolina Panthers off in great field position. Bobby Ross was talking about the controlled passing game. That's why the Carolina Panthers had the time of possession advantage. They didn't run the ball all that tremendously, but their controlled passing game was moving the chains.
Second down and 5 from the 23. Biakabatuka over the right side. Ron Rice coming up to make the stop for Detroit.
You know, once again, talk about the 3 T's in any football game. Turnovers, third down, time of possession. Turnovers are the most important statistic in football. Usually, if you're a +2, +3 in a football game, you're going to win that football game. You're just limiting opportunities, and in this case, you're getting an additional opportunity with a very, very short football field.
Third down and 2. Panthers are 3 out of 7 on third down conversions. There's a first down to Muhammad. The big man still fighting. Mark Carrier finally pulls him down at the 6-yard line.
Well, Bailey had a shot at him. Claiborne had a shot at him. But Muhammad, at 6'2", 217 pounds, is not going to go down easily. And you have a size advantage. Bailey's 5'10", and this was a concern of Bobby Ross. The big receivers against the little corners after the catch. And Bailey not able to bring Muhammad down. It's a big body against a much smaller one. Yards after catch have really helped the Panthers today.
14-yard pickup. There's the red zone numbers today. Carolina much better than that on the season. Biakabatuka takes a lick but gets inside the 5-yard line.
And he really got his shoulder pads squared up and get up the football field well that time. So he's shaking off of that. He's trying to shake that injury off, but he gets up with a little bit of a limp. I mean, he's not 100%. He's trying to tough it out. He doesn't want to miss many snaps. He's on a roll.
2 tight ends in there for Carolina. Biakabatuka, it took him about 2.5 years to recover from a devastating knee injury, but he's gotten that quickness back. And as Dave mentioned, doesn't want to leave the game even though his ankle is not quite right. Biakabatuka that time gets hammered at the 5. Leading the charge, big James Jones.
Kolakowski was coming downhill as well at the middle linebacker position. And what you do is you get penetration by the down lineman. Watch Kolakowski fill. I mean, this is a downhill shot right here. And really, Stoltenberg missed at the left guard position. He tried to come off the line of scrimmage, get upfield, and pick Kolakowski off, and it was a whiff. Kolakowski ran underneath downhill and made the hit tackle for loss.
Third down and 5. Biakabatuka in the slot. William Floyd finds himself in the backfield. Berline looking for Jeffers for an incomplete pass.
The red zone continues to be the twilight zone for Carolina. They cannot solve the red zone at all. Good red zone defense by Detroit. Watch the tight coverage on Jeffers here. Within a 5-yard area, you can chuck, just like is being executed by J.B. Brown. You can get both hands on the receiver and reroute him, as long as you're not further than 5 yards downfield. Nice job, nice jam by Brown.
A 23-yard attempt for John Casey. He's 3 for 3 on the afternoon. Detroit's lead is cut to 1. We'll be back to Charlotte right after this. Carolina Panthers linebacker honored in their Hall of Honor outside Erickson Stadium.
Boy, and I'll tell you what, a great football player. You had to come off the line of scrimmage on your knees to get under Sam Mills' shoulder pads. He played great leverage football. Tremendous player.
Terry Fair fields the kick at the 3. And he's brought down at the 24-yard line.
You know, the thing about Sam Mills is he's short, you know, in stature, diminutive, but he's not a small man. He's got a size 13 shoe. You couldn't knock him off his feet. It's like one of those rock'em sock'em punch up, you know, you punch the rocker doll there and you can't knock it off its feet. Sam Mills had a 240-pound body on a very short frame, and he played, you couldn't get under his shoulder pads, and he would hit you. So when you hit Sam Mills, it was like hitting that statue sometimes.
This is his first year as a full-time assistant coach, and he says he likes it, even though it's very time-consuming. Charlie Batch back to pass on first down. Good gain up around the 33-yard line. Chuck Wiley tripped him up.
Well, Charlie Batch has got plenty of foot quickness. He's got some escapability, plenty of mobility. And what he did here is he found a rush lane gap. Sean Gilbert lost his pass rush lane integrity. He got washed out of there. And the Red Sea parted for Charlie Batch, and he said, see you later, I'm going to fuse it for 8 yards.
Greg Hill and tailback behind Schlesinger. Hill brought down by Mike Minter. It'll bring up third down for the Lions.
You know, the Lions really did not run the football very well in the first half at all. They only averaged 1.8 yards per rush. So Carolina did a decent job of shutting down the run game.
Now the crowd has come alive. This season, you see, Detroit has really struggled in the third period. This is so big for them. That's scoring by quarters for this season. Third down and 1 from the 34. Johnny Morton wiggles his way out of that tackle and gets a first down for Detroit.
Well, Charlie Evans did everything well except make the tackles. Doug Evans did everything well except finalize. And Doug Evans, he reads it. Good recognition of the hitch pattern. He closes on it, and he's there to throw a tackle for loss, but Doug Evans doesn't wrap Morton up. Morton escapes yards after catch. Once again, yards after reception have been beneficial to the Lions and hurtful to the Panthers.
First and 10 from the 39. Greg Hill again there. The play action fake. Pass with lots of time over the middle. He's got a receiver. It's in and out of the hands of Jermaine Crowell. He was there, and the ball was there also.
Yeah, Crowell is going to be disappointed. 99 times out of 100, he catches that football. And a little play-action fake allowed Batch to stretch the field a little bit with Crowell. We talked about his speed, 4.3 type speed. And the ball hits him right in the hands. Evans strips it out of there, but Crowell should have secured that football, and he knows it.
Dallas leads Washington 17-10. Redskins are coming back, and Minnesota leads San Fran 24-13. It has been a long time since San Francisco's dropped 3 in a row. Tampa Bay on top of the Bears as you check the scores from around the league. The Dolphins playing without Dan Marino.
Patriots and Broncos. Well, that's a big game. The Broncos coming off a big win. St. Louis Rams in a bid to stay undefeated. The Indianapolis Colts smoking the Bengals.
Doug Bell alongside Dave Lapham. Jennifer Hammond on the sidelines. It's third down and 8 from the 41. 3 wides for Detroit. Cedric Irvin in the backfield. Batch wide open, first down. Johnny Morton. Nice timing pattern between Batch and Morton. Mike Minter on the stop. 18-yard pickup.
In conversation with Charlie Batch, asked him, what route do you feel you throw the best? The 14 to 16-yard out route. And that's exactly what he threw here. And he threw it right. It just threaded the needle between 3 potential Carolina Panthers. I mean, Charlie Batch, this is the one that tests the quarterback's arm strength. That would have gone through a car wash without getting wet right there.
First down and 10. Ball. Schlesinger wide open. Nothing but green pasture. Wow, and he lays a lick. Gets knocked out of bounds at the 22. Mike Minter took some punishment, even though he gets credit for the tackle. When Schlesinger's coming at you, Dave, with a head of steam, look out.
And he's got a hard head, and he does not mind putting his head right on your body and inflicting some pain. Nice little play right there, though. all the run action went to the right, and he leaked out all by his lonesome. Let's hear what it sounds like. That's the contact of the National Football League right there.
My partner's excited. Easy, big fella. Back to pass. Wide open is the tight end. Touchdown, Detroit. David Sloan. 22-yard strike. Batch to Sloan.
Well, they wanted to find that big tight end in one-on-one matchups, and boy, Sloan found himself all alone. No doubt about that one. Not quite a red zone score. Hadn't quite penetrated the 20-yard line, but boy, David Sloan ran a nice little route. He looked like a big wide receiver getting in and out of that cut.
Jason Hansen comes on for the extra point, and he'll go through his usual gyrations.
Yes, Grasshopper.
And it's good. A very impressive drive for the Detroit Lions, led by Charlie Batch. 17-9 the score. For a couple of years with knee problems, he's a big target with great hands, and he caught that touchdown pass, which capped off a 75-yard march. Charlie Batch 3 out of 3 for 59 yards, just over 4 minutes, and the Lions lead 17-9. In his own end zone, or just in front now, is Michael Bates. Finds a gap. And he's brought down at the 29-yard line by Robert Bailey. Again, the Lions on top. Check out Sloan, the fifth-year veteran out of New Mexico. Touchdown Lions.
Look up for a 22-yard touchdown reception. Sloan to Batch to Sloan. Look, a little play-action fake. Steve Tovar is looking for the crossing pattern. It's not there. Alexander jumps on an underneath route. Sloan is all by himself. Broken coverage right there. They absolutely forgot about the big tight end. He's a happy camper, no question about it. Batch did a nice job on that drive.
First and 10 from the 28 bird line to Bianca Batuka, and that was a heck of a stick by Robert Bailey. Coming up next, Fox Sports presents the ultimate in a head-to-head competition as world champion and Olympic athletes join forces in the Grand Slam of skating. World Super Teams Challenge, next on Fox. Check local listings. Boy, after a hit like that, Dave, to hear that music, it really brings you down, doesn't it?
I tell you what, the reason I'm not competing is the triple Salchow used to kill me. It used to kill the point of my blade.
Berline on second down, looking for Mohammed. It'll bring up third down. You know, Mohammed is an interesting story when you consider he's leading the NFC in receiving yards, and yet he's the lowest paid starter on the Carolina Panthers. He makes $625,000. Jeffers, for example, number 83, who they signed in the offseason, makes $1.2 million.
Yeah, but if Mohammed keeps his nose to the grindstone, he's going to be a wealthy man. If they franchise tag him like they're talking about doing, Jeffers has got his contract. Mohammed's fighting for his. He could make about $4 million, averaging the top 5 salaries of wideouts in the NFL.
Third down and 7 from the 31. Berline with lots of time, but he ran out of time. Good coverage. Robert Porcher, his 4th sack of the season.
Robert Porcher working against the rookie, Chris Terry, and it was a delayed twist. Get up the football field. Watch Porcher right up here. Get up the football field. Then he takes it inside. A delayed twist with Jones, and the penetration is there late off of Chris Terry. Could not zone block it.
A coverage sack. Uezoke is deep to receive this punt. From Walter, a wobbly kick that again gets a favorable bounce but goes out of bounds at the 34-yard line. The Detroit Lions on top of Carolina, 17-9. This is gorgeous countryside in the Carolinas. Check out those mountains. Beautiful country, a beautiful day for football unless you root for Carolina. They trail 17-9. 2 tight ends in there now. Greg Hill, big gaping hole. Check it out. He's brought down to the 37-yard line. Eric Davis and Mike Minter finally bring him down.
Talked about Greg Hill's acceleration. And when he makes his mind up, how he squares his shoulder pads up. Watch the blocking up front. Watch what happens here on the backside. Just absolutely seals everything off. Over pursuit by Barrow. Can't separate from the block. And off to the races goes Greg Hill. Nice job up front and great vision by Hill to cut it back subtly.
29-yard gain by Hill. Cedric Urban replaces him. Batch down the middle. Crowell drops the last one, catches that one. Flag down. He's brought down at the 7-yard line.
Is that a face mask? Wonder if he grabbed up in that headgear as he was trying to bring him to the ground, because Crowell is a load. Big play out of the Detroit Lions.
Contact, 46 defense. Penalties decline. First down.
29-yard play now. Pass and catch. Crowell goes up and grabs that one. You know, yesterday we were talking to Jermaine, and today we were talking about Randy Moss and that story about him possibly playing NBA basketball. And we asked Jermaine, how would you do against Randy? And he'd say, no contest.
No contest. He said, I'll post him up, take him to the basket, do anything. Crowell, that time he showed his jumping ability. 38-inch vertical with 4.3 speed with that size. Amazing.
Crowell and Stabline are the wide receivers. Greg Hill back in there. Hill trying to hide behind those big blockers. And he gets brought down after a gain of 2.
Bobby Ross spoke at the half saying we have to do a better job with our outside running game. Hill abused Carolina between the tackles, but still isn't able to pop it or bust it on the perimeter.
Bobby Ross yesterday in the hotel lobby. His 11 grandchildren were there awaiting his arrival.
He's a proud grandpa, no doubt about that.
His daughter lives in Charlotte. He has a son who lives up in the Norfolk area, another son who lives down in Jacksonville, Florida. Back. Lots of time. Inside the 5-yard line on the completion. That's Greg Hill.
Nice job by the offensive line that time. In particular, Curlin Blaze staying with his block and allowing Charlie Bass to slide step, buy a little time, step up in the pocket. There's the big boys. You know, you have to really tip your cap to Hardings, the right guard, number 64. Look at the big flak jacket. Look at the guy's chest right in here. He's wearing a protective flak jacket because he has a cracked rib. And it's real high up in his rib cage, and he's sucking it up literally out there and playing good football.
Batch, again, plenty of time. Touchdown, Detroit. Stabline on the receiving end.
He disappeared behind Sloan.
That offensive line, Dave, giving Batch all day to find a receiver.
They really are. The protection very, very secure. Quarterback, the thing that he wants most in the pocket is vision. An ability to see down the football field. Doesn't want pressure in his face. And the center and guards, Compton, Hardings, Blaze, they're doing a nice job of securing the pocket for Batch and giving him an opportunity to see downfield.
Stabline paid the price for that catch. He was grimacing in pain. Hanson the extra point. And the Lions have jumped out to a 24-9 advantage over the homestanding Carolina Panthers.
Up front with the blue-collar guys. Watch the solid protection for Charlie Batch. No leakage. And then he steps up in the pocket and has a little lane to execute. He makes the throw. Stabline makes the catch. And check out who's the first one to congratulate Stabline. That's big Herman Moore. Palming his head right there. You know, saying, hey, that's a nice job. Ryan Stabline, that's the way to find your little seam in the zone. Herman Moore, great receiver. Holds every record that Detroit has in the passing game. Stabline filling in for the injured Herman Moore. Actually, Crowell starts, and Stabline's the third receiver in the 3-receiver package. Wincing a little bit, took a shot after catching that touchdown.
He got squashed in the end zone on top of the football. That was a 5-play, 66-yard march. And remember Greg Hill's 30-yard jaunt right up the gut. That offensive line, they have some injuries, but they are doing the job today. Deep into the end zone, Michael Bates will go to one knee, and the Panthers will try to start their comeback from the 20-yard line, trailing 24-9.
Well, we showed you Herman Moore Why is Herman Moore in street clothes? Well, there's a couple of good reasons for it. In the opener against the Seattle Seahawks, Tony Semple, his guard right here, collides and hyperextends that knee, bends his knee back, and got an injury to the left knee. And he missed some significant playing time. Obviously can't even bend that knee. Then last week goes airborne, comes down awkwardly on the right knee, on the right foot, and hyperextends the right knee. So, boy, I'll tell you what, left knee, right knee. Herman Moore without a reception, only played 2 quarters of football all year. The Lions without a catch. Remarkable.
Caroline with some time. Wesley Walls over the middle for a first down. 16 yards on the catch. Steve Berline and his wife Kristen celebrated the birth of their 3rd child last Monday at 4 in the afternoon. That's an off day for the NFL teams usually. 7 pounds 10 ounces. Stephen was born. His older brother Taylor and his sister Kaylee are very excited. So was Steve in talking to him.
3 children under 3 years old. That's a busy household right there.
Biakabatuka gets stopped and wrestled down around the neck by Luther Ellis.
Ooh, Luther. That's a powerful human being right there. Luther can pick you up and take you backwards like a forklift. Stick those arms underneath you, pick you up, and deposit you. It's a powerful man.
Luther missed the exhibition season with a broken orbital bone.
Doing a little body surfing. That's a big body to be surfing right there. That had to be a powerful current that took him to the bottom of the sea.
And he's been battling a groin injury, but they say he's about 90%. And he's played well this afternoon. Berline looking for Muhammad. Incomplete. For an NFL game break, let's return to Joe Buck in our Fox Network Center in L.A.
All right, Doug, thank you. And Big D, David LaFleur, a 3-yard touchdown catch from Troy Aikman. Dallas needs this game, and they lead 24-13 late 3rd quarter. Back to Doug and Dave in Carolina.
All right, Joe. Remember week 1, Dallas rallied a big-time comeback.
How about 300 yards of offense in the 4th quarter and overtime for Dallas's rally there after being down 35-14 after 3 quarters. That's unrealism.
Anthony Johnson in there now for the Panthers. Berline again over the middle, looking for Jeffers. First down, Carolina. And Jeffers comes up, holding that groin area.
Yeah, both come up a little worse for the wear. Jeffers, a little bit of a hitch, as well as Bailey in coverage.
16 yards on the play. Eric Metcalf comes in now.
Jeffers runs very precise routes. 6'3" body, nice target to throw to, and Jeffers comes up clutching, as you described, that left groin area. That's not a fun injury.
Berline for Wesley Walls. The big target with another grab. You know, you watch him in practice and you really marvel at his pass catching ability because he never cradles one in on the chest, Dave. It's always with the hands out in front of him. I mean, he has big hands, soft hands. That's just a God-given gift, really.
No doubt about it. He's got great eye-hand coordination, and it sounds almost comical, but a lot of receivers don't catch the ball with their hands. You know, they don't feel comfortable extending their hands out in front of their body and securing it. They want to trap it with their shoulder pads. And how many times have you seen the ball bounce off the shoulder pads and go airborne for interceptions? Not with Wesley Walls.
Berline with some pretty good numbers, but it hasn't resulted in touchdowns. Biakabatuka gets back to the line of scrimmage. Tracy Scroggins gets up in there to make the stop. Berline 18 of 29 for 207 yards. Pretty good numbers. But his team is way behind in the scoreboard.
Well, in the first half it was red zone problems, and then Detroit made some adjustments and got the football down the football field to their big tight end here in the second half, and that opened things up in the passing game, and Carolina hasn't been able to adjust as readily as Detroit has.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. It's 24-9 Detroit. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these words from your local Fox station.
Well, we get the 2 coordinators here. Gil Haskell, the offense coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. It's been a big play offense. The longest play of the day so far. First play of the game, 32-yard reception by Biakabatuka. Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, has had the answers for this big play Carolina offense, only giving up 9 points. Both of those gentlemen are wearing Super Bowl rings. And they got a false start by Carolina. Larry Peccatello's Super Bowl ring came with the Washington Redskins, and of course Gil Haskell's came with the Green Bay Packers.
50 years of coaching experience. Larry Peccatello, 28 years in the National Football League.
5 yards, repeat second down.
Wesley Wall is a little bit anxious to get into his pass route. Broke the line of scrimmage a little too soon.
Donald Hayes is checked in for the Panthers, number 81. His first action of the season, and they like this young man. He's a second-year receiver out of Wisconsin. Again, a big receiver, 6'4", 210 pounds.
Oh, he looks like a tight end out there. He's a monster.
Big guy. Biaka Batuka's in the slot and in motion. Again, looking for Wesley Walls. 8 questions, 1 night, a $2 million jackpot, the richest game show in TV history. Greed, the series premiere coming Thursday, November 4th at 9, 8 Central to Fox. Looking forward to that show.
Tell you what, I hope a lot of them are sports questions.
Yeah, no kidding.
If it's anything, I don't know. Boy, if they start asking, I don't know, biology questions or something, that'd be a hurting unit.
Anthony Johnson is in there. And, Dave, if you're on that show, I think they allow you to call somebody. I'll be at home. I'll help you with those sports questions. Goal line looking for Muhammad, who was held up. Terry Fair on the coverage. That's a size mismatch. 6'4" against 5'9". About 30 pounds difference also.
Truthfully, Detroit has gotten more yards after catch than Carolina has. I thought it was going to be the other way around with the big size mismatch. Carolina wideouts on Detroit's smaller corners.
Pass interference, 23 defense, first down.
Terry Fair didn't play fair on that one. Good caught. Little interference. Muhammad's a very, very competitive guy. Steve Berline says he comes back to the huddle and says, throw me the football. I can beat my guy. And you see that Terry Fair, this is more than 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and he absolutely hugs him. Almost bear hugs him. They could have called holding or pass interference.
Only 3 catches for 33 yards today, well below his average. Berline gets out of trouble, but he's finally brought down by big James Jones. Jones has been very active in the middle. That's a nice defensive line rotation for the Lions. They rotate 7 guys, and they're all quality defensive linemen.
And Berline blew a tire. You know, he blew the right tire. He's trying to get a repair right now. He's in a pit stop, but Berline, off the edge comes Scroggins. And Scroggins can't quite finish it. And Berline steps up in the pocket. Then he's trying to be off to the races, and he blows the tire right there. So he's taking care of things, grimacing a little bit in pain as he's ripped down from behind.
It's second down and 9. Fred Lane behind William Floyd. Flag down on the play. Chris Claiborne on the tackle. We'll check the flag again. William Floyd, a crushing block. He and Schlesinger, Detroit's fullback, are excellent and bruising blockers.
2 of the best in the National Football League at their position, no doubt. Another guy that lost a little bit due to reconstructive knee surgery. But holding is going to nullify this on the Carolina Panthers inside the offensive line, I believe.
2 fouls, holding, 61 offense, penalties decline. Holding, 70 offense, that penalty's accepted. 10 yards, repeat second down.
You know, whenever Larry Peccatello's defense plays well, his front 4 really gets it done. And look at these numbers. 18 tackles, 7 of them behind the line of scrimmage. 3 quarterback sacks. They've hit Berline 13 other times and hurried him 18 more. So Berline's going to be in the jacuzzi, and everybody else is going to be in the film room trying to figure out how to block this front 4.
8 penalties for 50 yards for Carolina. There's the front 4 in their numbers today. They have done an excellent job. Second down and 19. Fred Lane going nowhere on the left side. And that brings some boos down from the crowd here at Erickson Stadium. Tracy Scroggins.
Well, this Detroit Lion defense, they're doing 2 things. They're staying on their feet. Nobody's getting knocked to the ground, And then once they stay on their feet, they're separating from blocks and running to the football. Boy, Scroggins has got some quicks. Scroggins was running like a linebacker. He's finally getting healthy, too. This Detroit Lion football team has been beaten and battered. Bobby Ross feels if they can generate a victory here and start to get some players back that have been out for a part of the season, they're going to be in pretty good shape.
The Panthers 5 of 11 on third down conversions. 3rd and 18. Burline wide open. Mohammed. There's a first down and more. Mohammed broke the tackle. Brought down at the 11 by Terry Fair.
I thought Mark Carrier was going to blow him up, but he could not get the dynamite cap ignited. He was in position, but Mohammed kind of spun away from it and got extra yards after the catch. It starts up front, though. It always does. The offensive line picks up the twists inside. Great pocket for Burline. His vision totally unimpeded. And he sees with that vision that Mohammed has beaten Fair. And he's settling in the seam of zone. Carrier misses, and then Fair is dragged for about another 8 yards.
Anthony Johnson in there for the Panthers. Burline calls timeout.
Burline in discussion with Mohammed and Metcalf.
Lions on top 24-9, but the Panthers are threatening. 4-9. The Panthers are threatening. Doug Bell along with Dave Lapham. 1st and 10 from the 11. Anthony Johnson in motion. Looking for AJ. Down inside the 5.
You know, this is the 5th time that Carolina has been in the red zone today. The first, they've settled for 3 field goals, and they've had an interception. Have not scored a touchdown in the red zone yet. This is the 3rd drive that they've had of over 8 yards. That was the 11th play of this drive. So they have done the ball control that they were trying to do, but they have not finalized in the red zone. And George Seifert desperately wants a touchdown in this red zone drive.
Donald Hayes wide right and now in motion. Mohammed wide left. Burline flushed out of the pocket and threw it away. Wesley Walls was there, but excellent coverage by Detroit.
Nice pressure by Kolakowski and Porsche as well. And they're doing just a great job in pass coverage. Everything condenses, everything shrinks, and Larry Peccatello brings a bunch of people. Porsche runs him out of pocket. Kolakowski stays after it. Burline has to throw it away. Throw it to his family in the stands. Got to get rid of it. Don't take the quarterback sack when you're on the doorstep.
3rd down and goal. They can actually get a first down. Burline. A fumble. Detroit picks it up. Lions football on the 24-yard line.
Ron Rice knocked it out of there. Ron Rice knocked it clean.
Tracy Scroggins came up with it. It has been a tough afternoon for Steve Burline.
Ron Rice on the safety blitz. Another takeaway. So you got an interception and you have a fumble in the red zone. That's why you're down 15. Larry Peccatello heats him up. He brings safety Ron Rice in the red zone. Hits the B gap. Ron Rice says, I'm after you, Steve Burline. Now, Steve has to secure the football. When you're in the pocket, the quarterback has to hold on to the football. Rice knocks it free. Scroggins picks it up. And there's an assignment error there. You have to block down. You protect from the inside out with the quarterback. Rice comes in untouched.
Greg Hill will try and run some clock.
Plays over, gentlemen. Plays over, gentlemen.
Over the right side, Chuck Wiley on the stop for Carolina. But again, credit this Detroit Lions offensive line. And credit that Detroit Lions defense. They came in with a game plan of stopping Steve Burline and disrupting his rhythm. And they have done that, especially in the red zone.
Well, yeah, you look at the red zone, and Scroggins recovering that last fumble. To force 2 turnovers in the red zone defensively is nice work.
Back setting up the screen to Cedric Irvin. That is how a screen pass is supposed to work. Well done on all counts. Quarterback, blocking, and the running back. Very elusive, Cedric Irvin.
Big Mike Compton is out in front trying to throw a block, and Irvin says, no offense, but I'm going to blow by you. I can throw it into 3rd gear before you can get in 2nd gear, and I'm going up the football field. Mike Compton says, no offense taken. It's nice positive yards. Mike Compton, the most versatile offensive lineman on this football team. center, guard, or tackler. Does it all. Interchangeable drill bit right there.
Stabline and Morton are the receivers. Schlesinger back in there. And Greg Hill. Let's go to Los Angeles for an NFL update with Joe Buck.
All right, Doug, game on in Dallas. Albert Connell, who talked all week about how Dion couldn't cover him, at least on this play, Kevin Mathis cannot. A 44-yard touchdown reception. It's now a 4-point game in Dallas. Early fourth quarter. Back to Doug and Dave in Carolina.
Great game as you check the NFC East standings. Washington and Dallas right there. Boy, what a game.
Brad Johnson might be the most accurate deep thrower in the NFL. He is something else.
Second down and 9. Greg Hill just shoots through the hole like he was shot through there. Doug Evans gets the tackle, but not for a big gain by Greg Hill.
Well, it was a stroke of genius to get this guy. You know, Barry Sanders retires, and the announcement was untimely, and they were hamstrung a little bit. Rivers had played a little bit, but they needed to get another back. Boy, with Rivers being nicked up today, Hill's having a coming out party, and he's got the jackhammer feet now. I mean, he can make the quick cut for you. And that's nice yards per carry right there. He's creeping up on about 5 yards a lug. That's pretty good.
3 tight ends in there for Detroit on 3rd and short, less than a yard. Cedric Irvin behind Schlesinger. Cedric works his way to the left side and gets the first down.
Well, you know what it always boils down to, Doug? I don't care if we're talking Pee Wee football, high school, college, or the National Football League. The battle of the pits determines the war. And the battle is being won now by Detroit. You know, they've kind of taken control of this football game. Their offensive line is establishing themselves. The front four of Detroit has played well all game long. And if you win the war between the hash marks, or the battle between the hash marks with the Hogs, you're going to have a nice day.
Hill still in there, or back in there, I should say. Irvin gets the first down. Greg Hill working over the right side, cutting back. And this is a time-consuming drive, exactly what they wanted. You know, we haven't called the name of Kevin Green very much for the Panthers today. He has really been a non-factor.
Well, you know, Kevin is long in the tooth, to say the least. But what he did, I have a lot of respect for. Kevin's about 10 pounds lighter this year. Last year he played at 242. Now he's at 232. And he says he's maintained most of his strength. And as you get older, you do have to lighten your load a little bit so you can still get the quickness.
2 tight ends. Greg Hill working over the left side. Running right at Kevin Green and company on the left side. Tim Morabito gets the stop for Carolina.
The amazing thing about Kevin Green to me, 88 of his 150.5 sacks have come after the age of 30. That's keeping yourself in shape year-round. I mean, he has never let himself get way out of shape and then have to work to get back into shape. And that's, you're fighting Mother Nature there, and that's how you lengthen your career, by working out year-round. And this guy has done it. To be that productive after age 30 is something.
3rd down and 6. Morton in motion. Batch was hassled from behind, and his arm was actually hit before he released the football. Flag down on the play.
Might have a hold on the backside. There you do. That's salt in the wound right there. Your quarterback gets pounded, plus you're holding.
Legal hands to the face. 65 offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Well, what happened there is you can jam a defensive lineman. You can punch him in the chest with both your hands and extend. That time, when the punch was made by Blaze, watch Blaze right here at the left guard position. Punt right there. The punch is up in the face mask. Can't do that. That's an illegal shot to the face. You can hit him in the chest, but you got Ernest Jones up in the face mask.
Eric Metcalf lets it bounce into the end zone. Touchback. A 41-yard kick into the end zone. All sorts of extracurricular activity afterwards. A flag down, actually, now.
Were they spotting the ball at the 3-yard line? Did he not? Did he leave the field of play and bat the ball back in without touching the goal line? Let's see.
That's Kirk Dornan, the back judge. Got to know Kirk working NFL Europe games, and he was down there in the end zone. And he's talking things over with Ron Blum.
There's a great special teamer there, boy, Metcalf. What a return artist he is. Jet. Both of these punters. You know, Walter, number 13 for the Carolina Panthers. This guy's got 13 punts inside the 20-yard line. And he doesn't have one touchback yet. He's gone through getting there half the season. Has not punted the ball into the end zone yet for the entire season. That's George Seifert loves that when you have a 13-0 ratio touchback to inside the 20. This time, Jet gets another punt inside the 20. That's an amazing
was illegally
ratio.
touched in the end zone by the kicking team. The ball's on the 20-yard line. First down, timeout.
So much for that inside the 20.
Lions on top, 24-9. Back to Charlotte right after this. A touchdown bomb, 56 yards to Marvin Harrison.
You got two great stories at quarterback there. Peyton Manning will be an MVP, in my opinion, shortly. And Kurt Warner, hard not to root for that guy.
Burline is sacked at the 14-yard line. Again, that's James Jones. He's had a big afternoon. You know, speaking of Kurt Warner, Dave, I got to know him covering NFL Europe. He played for the Amsterdam Admirals and really was a good quarterback for Amsterdam, but took some pops physically when he came back to try out for the Rams. He was banged up just a bit, but things have worked out well for a nice guy. Glad to see it.
No good.
And, you know, we were talking about what Mohammed, his contract situation. Kurt Warner makes the league minimum.
Right,
$254,000. What about next year?
Huh. It's going to be open up the vault. Here comes Fort Knox, Wells Fargo. I mean, it's going to be, if he doesn't stay in St. Louis, which, I mean, they got Trent Green, and they paid him a ton of money. What are they going to do? Are they going to pay two quarterbacks that kind of money? You got a kid that's going to be going somewhere in the National Football League and make it, how about down to Tampa Bay with that defense and making beaucoup dinero?
The Panthers, 6 out of 13 on third down conversions. Burline looking for his tight end, Wesley Walls. Incomplete pass.
Well, we talk about Steve Burline, Doug, and we said it all day. Timing and rhythm. And that's why he's been so effective this season. Timing and rhythm disrupted today. Look at that shot to the lower back on Steve Burline. He's being hit now. These aren't quarterback sacks, but he's taking abuse. I mean, he's being knocked to the turf. He's being knocked around. He's had to throw the football away. He's lost the football in the pocket. It's been a long day for Steve Burline. He's going to be sore tonight and tomorrow.
And Walter, and the fair catch called for by Uwezuke at the 40-yard line. A 45-yard punt, no return. 24-9 the score in Charlotte.
Even there on his forehead. Gil Haskell's frustrated. Look at the number differential. They haven't even hit 300 yards today. They've been averaging the last 3 games over 400. Larry Peccatello, though, saying, I love this. My front four has done exactly what I wanted, and everything's fallen into place.
Cedric Irvin in the backfield now. Takes the handoff. Sidesteps the tackler. Goes forward to the 45-yard line. You know, it's not a good sign when the quarterback, Steve Burline, has grass stains on the back of his jersey. Not a good sign.
That's a very good point. And Steve Burline, when he was averaging over 400 yards and 30 points in those last 3 games, very comfortable in the pocket, comfy, cozy. Look at that. Burline's got a lot of green around it.
Yeah.
And that number 7's got a lot of green around it. And the offensive line doesn't like when the quarterback has green on his back, like you mentioned, Doug. And he has not been comfortable in today's pocket at all.
Cedric Irvin remains in there on 2nd down and 6. Short speed and stretching for the first down. Antonio Edwards gets credit for the tackle. Charlie Batch, big man, 6'2", 220, and it was a tough week. His triceps muscle really swelled up last week against Minnesota, missed the second half, and then he had back spasms on Wednesday.
Right, he missed Wednesday's practice, but boy, obviously that back's feeling good today for him to Greg Louganis like that, stretch and dive, extend that football, and he's just a chain link short of a first down. Now, this is a throwaway down. Second in a chain link, I go over the top, because then you got third in a chain link, and it's probably 4 down, maybe fourth in a chain link at almost midfield. So I'm saying if you got a little play action, you have something that you think you can really go over the top and put coffin nails in this victory, might think about it here.
So, Dave, what do you think? Is this sweet revenge for Bobby Ross? The last time he met George Seifert was in the Super Bowl. Chargers 49ers. He gets waxed by 23 points.
That 49er team offensively may have been the best offense ever assembled. I was at that game, and the Chargers never recovered or reacted to the speed of the 49ers.
3rd and 1. And that's a first down for Detroit. That Super Bowl, Bobby Ross took the Chargers. Stan Humphries is quarterback. They go against the 49ers. It was really a terrific coaching job for Ross. Timeout by Carolina, but that 49ers juggernaut, you look at the players they had. Rice in his prime, John Taylor.
Right. You know, you've got Steve Young pulling the trigger. You got Ricky Waters and a healthy Floyd before knee surgeries in the backfield. The best fullback in the NFL at that point in time.
Brent Jones at
tight end. I mean, you have Harris Barton at right tackle. Sapula. I mean, you had a solid offensive line and skilled players extraordinaire. I mean, it was just, what do you take away? If you take, you didn't have enough fingers and thumbs to put in the dike. The dam would spring another leak. And boy, the Chargers got wet that day.
And Seifert smiled at us yesterday, and he said, hey, guys, it was all coaching.
Yeah, exactly. But really, in all honesty, he had a hell of a coaching staff as well. I mean, it was just, that had to be a fun time for George Seifert.
Eric Davis earned a Super Bowl ring.
Yep.
That's right.
He was a corner on that football team. Yep, that was just a team that you dream about putting together. And in that era of free agency, to be able to keep all those guys around. And guys were redoing contracts to get other people, veteran leadership on that football team to make it even better. I mean, it was just a thing of beauty.
Stabline and Morton in there, wide receiver. Schlesinger in at fullback, blocking for Cedric Irvin.
Plays over, gentlemen. Plays over, gentlemen.
Schlesinger is a headhunter. Man, he wants to block somebody. That's the mentality you want in a fullback. Out of Nebraska, he did it at Nebraska for Tom Osborne.
You know, look at him. He looks like he swallowed a bowling ball. You know, where's the neck? It just goes right into his trapezoids there. He's just thick neck and hard head, boy. He loves contact.
And look at that helmet. Look at the top.
Yeah.
All the tape's all messed up.
He's got scars up there. That's a scarred helmet. That's a sign of contact. That's a prideful thing for a lead blocker to scar that helmet up.
And Ron Rivers back in the football game. No, that's Cedric Irvin. Excuse me.
We give to Cedric Irvin.
Tonight on Fox, can Hank help Bill reclaim his high school football record on an all-new King of the Hill? And Homer becomes a famous food critic on an all-new Simpsons, followed by Futurama and last season's shocking finale of The X-Files. It all starts with the world's funniest tonight at 7, 6 Central on Fox.
Food critic. I could be a food critic. I'll join in the fun with Homer. Some seriously nice dining done here in Carolina. What a beautiful facility Erickson Stadium is, huh? Man, that's just, if you're a player, Bobby Ross was awestruck by what he saw when he came out in the field. If you're a player, you circle this game and say, I want to play on the mattress at Erickson Stadium. Natural grass, beautiful turf. It's a pleasure. You know, after games on a field like this, your ankles feel better, your knees feel better. It's just, it's an easier deal on your joints.
Erickson Stadium has cleared out with the home team way behind. It has been an injury-riddled day. Tim Biaka-Batuka injured on the opening drive. Third down. Batch comes back to pass and out of the hands of Jermaine Crowell.
Oh, Tim Biaka-Batuka, you know, touchdown Tim, and he has had unbelievable. Look at this, 7 runs of over 20 yards, leads the NFL. His longest rush today, 5 yards. He's an injured thoroughbred. You know, it's like he's broken down a little bit, so he wasn't able to get much done today, but you have to credit the Detroit Lions defensive front 4 and front 7 as well.
John Jett, nice athletic. Whoa, taking a shot was Eric Metcalf. And that's Schlesinger down there.
Oh, he checked the fillings on that one.
31-yard punt, 2-yard return. On November 7th, bass fishing is coming to Fox as the top anglers in the world go for over $3.5 million in prize money in the Ranger Boats 1 Millennium Tournament. It's live bass fishing like you've never seen it before. November 7th, only on Fox.
Look at the eyes of that fish. That might have been Berline's eyes in the pocket a little bit today with all that pass rush. That's that wide-eyed.
You're right. That's what the Lions defenders did to him. They ate him up.
I'm a little wide-eyed out there.
Fred Lane, William Floyd in the backfield. In and out of the hands of Eric Metcalf.
It's a disappointing day, obviously, for the Panther offense. Steve Berline says, boy, it's just one of those long days at the office. You know the good thing for Steve Berline, though? Take a shower, go home, got 3 kids aged 3 and younger, give them all a kiss, tuck them in, and life goes on. And get ready for next week.
And his wife probably needs a little help when he gets home.
Yeah, exactly.
Fred Lane gets hammered. The Lions are really teeing off now. Lamar Campbell zeroed in and nailed Fred Lane.
Fred Lane out of Lane College. First guy in the NFL with the same last name as the school he went to.
Border line to Wesley Walls. Threads the needle.
Pass complete to Wesley Walls. It's
It's clever. Wesley Walls is definitely clever.
Today's game produced by P.T. Navarro and directed by Rich Dewey. The pregame show was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. Thanks also to technical producer Matt Benedict, associate director Marcy Kempner, and broadcast associate Derek Manning. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
A distinct pleasure doing this one today. The boys in the truck treating us nice today, boy.
We have had a super time, a super crew here in Carolina. You know, we talked to George Seifert yesterday, and he was really in an exceptionally good mood. I guess that San Francisco victory really had him thinking good thoughts, and they were very confident coming into this one. And next week they looked at Atlanta, and then after that Philadelphia, and they were thinking maybe we can really get it rolling. But hey, Detroit came in, and these guys are for real.
They certainly are. And 100 regular season wins. He got there quicker than anybody in NFL history, winning over 75% of his games in so doing. He got there fastest at 50 wins, 75, and 100. This man knows what he's doing. I mean, he'll get this thing, he'll get the ship righted once again.
The offense moved the football against Detroit. But once they got inside the red zone, inside the 20-yard line, it really bogged down.
Yeah, 0 for 5 in terms of touchdowns. 3 field goals, interception, and fumble.
Delay a game. Offense, 5 yards. Repeat second down.
The clock, play clock expired. You get in the red zone 5 times, and you don't score a touchdown. That's excellent defense. 3 field goals, an interception, and a fumble. 2 takeaways defensively is incredible.
9 penalties for 55 yards now for the Panthers. Anthony Johnson with a grab up to the 50-yard line. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. The Lions tied for first in the NFC Central. Another victory today, 24-9. They lead. It's pretty clean on the backside.
Yeah, the only reason he got dirty was diving for first downs.
That's Kinchin, the backup tight end. Brian Kinchin, 12-year vet at LSU. Wesley Walls a bit banged up, and he's on the sidelines now, trying to walk it off. Berline into the corner. Muhammad overshoots him. You know, this was an important game really for both teams, but especially Detroit, because, Dave, their schedule is pretty tough. They go home now for 2 straight weeks, but against Tampa Bay and St. Louis.
Right. And
then it's on the road to Arizona and Green Bay. Man, their schedule's pretty dicey.
But Bobby Ross gets some players back. He's hoping that he gets Abrams back next week at corner. He's hoping that he gets Dan Owens back. He's practicing. So they're starting to get a little bit healthier. You know, he's hoping that he gets Jared DeVries back. He's running better than he's run all year long, so he was real excited about the fact that if he could generate a win here and get some more bodies, you know, they become more of a snootful.
Donald Hayes, Eric Metcalf for the wideouts. Berline's got room to run. He says, why not? Slides down at the 25. 16-yard pickup for Berline.
He wants a 6th shot at that red zone. In fact, he doesn't even want to worry about the red zone. He wants to score from 27 yards out right now.
Frank Garcia, Carolina's center. Berline completes it to Donald Hayes. Hayes' first reception of the season.
Bailey hit him and ended up going backwards. Hayes is a big body. They were both airborne. Collision. And Bailey did a backward somersault. Hayes is a giant.
Berline looking. Throws it high over Hayes. You know, Frank Garcia, when we spoke to the center for Carolina, he described Berline. He kept calling him Grandpa.
Really?
Now, Berline's only 34 years old, but I think after today, after the hits that he's taken and the tough times that he's had, he'll probably feel like a grandfather, huh?
Yeah, he may be walking around like Grandpa tomorrow. He may have a hitch in the get-along for sure. He has taken a lot of hits. Look at that green that we talked about a couple of times. Boy, this grass is so lovely, though. It's a carpet that's exceptional.
Play clock is down to 2. And again overshoots Mohammed in the corner of the end zone.
Well, they find themselves on the cusp of the red zone now. I think this goes in officially as another red zone penetration. Because, you know, and this makes number 6. They're going to have to convert on 4th down here. They don't get this done and keep this drive alive. They go 0 for 6 in the red zone. That would be 3 field goals, an interception, a fumble, and lose the ball on downs. Man, that would be just serious, serious problems in that red zone execution.
Berline into the end zone. Looking for Hayes, incomplete on 4th down. And now after we sign off from Charlotte, Lions on top 24-9, 26 ticks before this one is official.
This is the most pleasant formation that an offensive line can be a part of. Genuflect, take a knee, and run the clock out. You know, it's just that then you're the victor. And all the work that you did the whole game long pays off because the other team can't do a thing about you.
Charlie Batts takes a knee. Bobby Ross will shake hands with George Seifert. As we mentioned the last time they went head-to-head, Seifert won in the Super Bowl. Ross gets a level of revenge this afternoon, I guess. More importantly, though, his terrific season continues.
4-2 and maintain their first-place posture in the NFC Central. Tiebreaker, depending on what, even if Green Bay wins, they've beaten Green Bay head-to-head. So as of right now, from tiebreaker standpoint, they're in first place in the NFC Central Division. And Bobby Ross has done one heck of a job with this football team, responding to adversity.
Again, the Lions knock off the Panthers 24-9.
And it all started up front. Irvin, Sloan, they scored the touchdowns, but the offensive line did all the dirty work.
For Dave Lapham, I'm Doug Bell. Coming up after the break, the final round of the Cowboys-Redskins. Stay tuned.